Well, thank you, Chairwoman Schakowsky, for holding this important hearing. It's been too long since this committee held a proper oversight hearing. For example, our colleagues on the other side of the aisle have not had the Consumer Product Safety Commission here since May of 2015. So I'm pleased that you and the Democratic majority are reclaiming our vital oversight duties. Over the past 2 years, a number of major hurricanes have made landfall in the United States. Harvey, Maria, Irma, Michael devastated communities across the country, and I'm coming from Florida, I'm particularly sensitive to this. After hurricanes sweep through, many Americans are left without power for days or weeks, and in some cases months. After Hurricane Maria, Puerto Rico was without power for 11 months. In the aftermath, portable generators can supply emergency power to those in desperate need. However, portable generators can be deadly. They emit 450 times the amount of carbon monoxide as an idling car. On average, 73 people die each year from carbon monoxide exposure from generator exhaust. After Hurricane Irma, at least 12 Floridians lost their lives because of portable generators. And according to the CPSC's own data, generators killed 849 people or caused brain damage and sickness and many more from 2005 to 2016. In 2016, the Commission recognized that something needed to be done, and the commissioners voted 4-1 to go forward with a notice of proposed rulemaking for a mandatory portable generator safety rule. That rule, which could prevent numerous deaths, has still not gone into effect. Acting Chair Burkle, in 2016, you were the lone commissioner who opposed moving forward with a mandatory portable generator safety rule. That means out of the 5 commissioners, you were the only one to oppose such rule, and you stated that you favored a voluntary standard over a mandatory standard. How many preventable deaths need to occur before the Commission, under your leadership, issues a mandatory safety standard? In other words, do you foresee any circumstance where you would support a mandatory rule?
Thank you very much, Congresswoman Castor, for that question. First, let me just tell you how important and seriously the CPSC takes the issue of carbon monoxide poisoning. It is one that we've spent a tremendous amount of resources on in trying to address the hazard. I would tell you that the ANPR for the mandatory standard began in 2006. The NPR was published in 2016. So 10 years elapsed before we ever did anything to get an NPR. Apparently there was difficulties in developing the technology. We waited for a study to come from the University of Alabama, which was a low emission technology. In the meantime, industry, and there's actually at the end of the day 2 voluntary standards with shutoff technology that really make the consumers safe, and they have addressed the hazard, so we hope.
But a lot of manufacturers even didn't want to adopt longer cords. I mean, that's not something that takes a lot of research and time, but they wouldn't go along with that. And why wouldn't you sign a letter to retailers that was circulated by the other commissioners urging retailers to stock generators with new safety features?
I think first and foremost because the generators weren't available and the letter was going to cause confusion. The generators that had the new technology that was compliant with the voluntary standards was not available till approximately a year and a half later. And so sending out a letter.
You were in the minority on that, though. Why did you provide that draft letter to industry representatives and note that you intended to discourage the other consumer product safety commissioners from sending that letter?
I disagree on the first premise that I provided the letter because no letter was ever provided to PGMA. And that's very important, and I never would have provided it
Commissioner Kay,
until-
you thought that it was important for the commission to adopt a mandatory portable generator safety rule. Is that right? Could you tell us why?
That is correct, and if the chairman would indulge me for a moment in the answer. This goes back to what I said in my opening, when the
Hey,
CPSC is...
quickly, because she's out of time. Go
When the
ahead.
CPSC is at its best, it's driving research, and the staff led to the breakthrough that caused us to move forward with that mandatory standard. And even if the voluntary standard is perfect, there's a good part of the market that would never comply with the standard, and so we need a mandatory and standard to enforce it anyway.
Thank you.